Welcome to Reach the Beach. It's the final night of action in the SEC Conference's 7-week soccer season. And we come to you from Orlando in the wide world of sports. That's usually the happiest place on earth. It's where you go when you win a championship. But right now, if you want to play for a championship, you're headed to Orange Beach. 11 teams could put their name on that trophy. At the end of the night, it'll be down to 10. And on Sunday, 4 more will go as a week-long tournament of 9 games leads us to our 2019 SEC Soccer Tournament champion. Hi, everybody. Welcome inside our studio. That's Kat Whitehill, Jill Loyden, both former members of the U.S. Women's National Team. Mike Watts with you as well. So it is going to be a wild night in the SEC. Almost everybody could shift around depending on the results of our 7 games. So we decided we're just going to do 4 hours where we cover all 7 games. 4 in the 7 o'clock hour to kick us off, and we'll have 3 more in the 8 o'clock hour. We're going to cover all these games live, drop in and out. Of course, we'll get outstanding analysis along the way as well. So let's take a look at what the schedule looks like coming into this affair. Arkansas has a chance to wrap up the outright regular season title at Tennessee, who need a result to guarantee their place in Orange Beach. Florida's dominated the Bulldogs historically. If they win their division. Ole Miss is at A&M. Ole Miss in desperate need of a win. Kentucky and LSU battling for last place. Meanwhile, in the 8 o'clock hour, we kick off with South Carolina and Auburn. We've got Mississippi State and Mizzou. Mississippi State in 11th right now. They need to get through to have a chance, and then Vanderbilt will take on Alabama. So with all that in mind, 7 games. Let's start with you, Jill. When you think about the importance of tonight, why are you so excited about it?
Oh, I'm so excited for these players. They have been training for 8 months ready for today, in the gym, doing extra sprints, preparing on the field. This is their moment to shine tonight for their family, for their friends that have been part of the journey, for us who've been part of the journey. I am so excited to see how they do.
Well, I'm excited for the chaos. I love to root for chaos. Just about every single game has major implications for where they're seated in the SEC tournament and making it to the SEC tournament. So I want to see each and every game and see how each and every player comes out, because this is what you've been waiting for. Like Jill said, as a player, it comes down to this, and this is exciting. Yeah,
gear up. There is a very legitimate chance of chaos. The division structure is back this year, so the top 2 seeds are your division winners based on total points. But to win your division, it's based on division points. Florida and Georgia, the only teams that still have games remaining in the East. They play each other. Florida wins. They lead the head-to-head against Vanderbilt from a result earlier this year, a 1-0 win. So they would win the division with a win against Georgia. Arkansas 13 days ago was able to lock up the West with their win over Texas A&M. That leads us to our road to Orange Beach coming in. 11 teams still could get in. Mississippi State right now outside looking in. 3 teams have already been eliminated. So the top 6 get to avoid playing on Sunday. The next 4, not so much. So with that in mind, how important is a first-round bye to getting where you want to go?
Oh, it's extremely important. That play-in game, that's just too many games in a week for these teams. It's so rare when you can make it all the way through. So that first round bye is massive. So when these teams are playing today, they are playing for that, not just for where they end up in the SEC, but that bye can really make or break your season.
And Kat, realistically, you see the top 6 seeds there. How much do you think it changes today?
Well, I think it changes tremendously. I think Florida is the big one. They're going to play Georgia, which they've beaten them every time but once in the regular season. So I think they're going to really make a push up there, and you're going to see Florida in that top spot.
All right, so that's what the top 6 looks like. Jill, in your mind, the bottom group, how much does that change?
I think Mississippi State is going to make it. I think they're going to make it to Orange Beach. I really like their new leadership under Coach James Armstrong. I think he's moving the team in the right direction. And you know what? Tennessee have the hardest matchup tonight against Arkansas, who's in the lead of the conference right now. And they've made it really difficult on themselves to make it to Orange Beach.
So this is what the top 14 looks like now, and the top 10 get in. This is what it would look like if no changes occurred tonight. Jill, let's start with you. Which game excites you most?
Well, I'm so excited, and selfishly, I don't want these brackets to change because I get to call the Florida-Texas A&M game, which I'm so pumped for. Perennial powerhouses in the SEC that we typically see on Championship Sunday. We're seeing them in the quarterfinals.
And meanwhile, Kat, first round on Sunday, your eyes are on one game?
Yeah, it's Georgia, Tennessee. I think Tennessee, even though they do have a tough game tonight, they're the team that you don't really want to play right now. So I think that Georgia-Tennessee game will be very interesting, and if one of those two teams could possibly make a little bit of a run.
Now for Arkansas, they remain the #1 seed if they win or even if they lose, depending on the result that Florida picks up. It's a heavy goal differential that need to be overturned. We'll send you out to Rocky Top, see what Colby Hale is cooking for 6th ranked, 6 games unbeaten Arkansas on Senior Day in Tennessee on Reach the Beach.
Does with Houchin.
Jill is our encyclopedia for these kinds of things. If you think about South Carolina with a 2-goal lead, how safe is that given how many goals they've allowed this year?
They've allowed 4 goals this entire SEC season. Kat talked about how incredible this defense is. Auburn has a huge hole to dig out of.
Auburn at home, where they have not lost in their last 9 home finales. And South Carolina is the one on the front foot right now, trying to find a third. Arkansas's current result would mean they could not be regular season champions. That's what Vanderbilt was a year ago. They hadn't done that in a real long time. Darren Ambrose and his side against Alabama. We preview next. Reach the Beach. We are down to our final game set to kick off in moments. Vanderbilt is away to Tuscaloosa, taking on Alabama tonight as Darren Ambrose in his 5th year taking on Wes Hart in his 5th year. And both seem to have their programs going in the right direction right now. Why do we say that? Well, because that trophy is still very much a possibility for both of them. Now, if Florida does beat Georgia, it means Vanderbilt would slink down to either 5 or 6 because Alabama can jump them. Yeah, things get a little crazy when the division winners come into play. Those standings are live right now as we get you ready for our final kickoff of the night. And we're talking Vanderbilt here at the outset. They won the regular season title a year ago. It's been a very long time since they've done that. And as I sit with Kat Whitehill and Jill Lloyden, we talk about why Vanderbilt was able to do that, right? But even more now, just because they aren't in first doesn't make this a down year. They are very good.
I don't understand anyone who thinks Vanderbilt is having a down year right now. They've had the biggest transformation of any program that I've known in the U.S. right now that's playing. I think Darren Ambrose has done a great job of evolving his team to be able to play against any style, changing the culture. This is a defense that doesn't give up goals. They've given up 6 goals in the SEC. They have 3 backs. They play with 5 midfielders, 2 forwards, 3 of the most exciting players in the attack. They're having a great year.
And you think about the offense of it, right? You think about their key players. It's in part the fact that offensively they can move the ball around to get them involved.
Yeah, what they need to really do is change the point of the attack so they can get their outside wingers involved. And that's Layla Azari and Madison Elwell. They're so good at combining, finding players in, and that's why Hopkins is doing such a nice job at scoring goals. It's because of those 2 players getting in around. So if they can change the point quickly on this Alabama team, Vanderbilt will be successful.
Ambrose coming from the Pennsylvania area, Ambler, Pennsylvania, that's where Elwell comes from. The connections are obvious. So for Vanderbilt, part of the problem, and you think about what's key for them, in part it's their goalkeeping situation. DeMarchi was the go-to last year. This year they're splitting time. You did that a bit as a professional. That's not easy.
It's not easy, and in no world does it make sense in my mind why they do it, but I can't even argue it. It's working for them. DeMarchi starts all the games. Tollison finishes all the games. They've given up 6 goals. I don't know how it works, but Tollison actually just wrote an article about this in her school paper saying how much it pushes them, how much it gives them a competitive advantage to show up, train every day, and they have an incredible bond, which is, you don't find that everywhere.
So at Vanderbilt, that's newsworthy. At North Carolina, that's par for the course.
It's what North Carolina has done every year. Anson Dorrance has done that every year. It's that competitiveness that he wants to bring for the goalkeepers. They don't want to rely on their laurels and just, if they have a bad game, they know they'll start the next game. What they want to do is do it during the regular season, and when tournament time comes, the winner of the regular season plays the rest of the time. And yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but sometimes it really does work, and it's worked in North Carolina.
What laurels? I'm seeing they lost to Arkansas and Fayetteville earlier. Okay, let's turn the corner. Talk about Alabama. They're unranked right now. I think people have much higher expectations for Wes Hart's team, himself included, than in years past. He comes in from Colorado Rush, a lot of players from that area. They graduate. They're only Alabama native. But this freshman class right now, looks like the real deal.
Well, this is the first time that Wes Hart has had his entire team he has recruited. This is the top 12 recruiting class in the country, and they've contributed to 71% of their goals, whether that was scoring or in the assists in the lead up. This freshman class is going to be a class that is going to change this program and get them to the SEC tournament year after year.
And offensively, they do pretty much the same thing a lot, but it works, right?
It works, and I would like to see a little more creativity in the attack from Alabama, but they love to take players 1v1, go inline. 6 goals of their 16 goals have come from getting across in, 4 goals from corner kicks. So if they don't get the ball in, a lot of times the ricochets off a team and they get the most corner kicks of any team in the SEC. So that, yeah, should there be some more long range shots? They haven't scored on those. Should they have a little bit more creativity? Probably, but it's working. So keep going in line and go 1v1.
Right. If I'm trying to be predictable, I try and be predictable by winning, and they're doing that. Casey Wirtz, a junior forward, a big part of what they do.
Well, she is, and she's one of those that can score from long range, and she's great with her on the dribble with speed. She's a good target forward, 1v1, holds the ball well, and she's been just a key cog for the success for Alabama this year.
And you think Giamona is a special key for Alabama, too?
I think if Alabama is going to win this game, they're going to need to win it in the midfield 3. Giamona, Reyes, Morgan, they're going to need to combine, get it out to Pham, who's so creative on that flank, who can get in line. But Giamona, she is like the hallmark 10 for this Alabama team. She's creative off the dribble. She can find that final pass, and she gets into the penalty area, and she's dangerous.
Vandy can win the East with a Florida loss or a draw. Last bye in the tournament for Bama, 95. A win here guarantees them that much. Let's head out to Gary Robertson, Haley McDonald, Addie Weaver for kickoff in Tuscaloosa. They're late in the first half.